Hello guys, welcome to EPL 24x7. My name is Anisha Hujra, and right now it's the start of April. We're in international break with the FA Cup starting this week and Premier League starting next week. But in the past few weeks, there's been interesting stories, but I would say the biggest story out of all of them is Tottenham hiring Robert De Zerbi. You guys are right, the former Brighton manager who succeeded. I mean, who did okay, I guess, with Brighton with 26 wins. I think 19 draws and 25 losses in 70 games. So it's really, I guess, shocking, but also not really that surprising, based on what current standing Tottenham are to get him in, and because at this point of season where we have what I think around 7 games remaining, and Tottenham are in position of 17th place with 30 points. It's like a win. Either you get them out of relegation or you get them in the championship, which right now I guess most likely people like me would be thinking that they're probably gonna get in the championship after that 3-0 loss to Nottingham Forest. So I I would kind of argue on the fact that why he chose such a job, to come to Tottenham during, a really harsh time where they actually haven't, if you guys didn't know, they haven't even won a game in the 2026 calendar year in the Premier League. Like, they just won in the Champions League against Dortmund. I think they won against Atletico Madrid. They won against, yeah, I think those were there was one more, but I forget. But otherwise, in the Premier League calendar in 2026, they haven't even won at all, which is surprising because Tottenham are usually considered as the Big Six showdown club, So it's really weird that a Big Six top club would be in the relegation, as they did the same last year. Also, if you remember, they ended with 38 points, which was really weird. And this year, nobody expected this would happen. They got new players like Gallagher. They got uh who they got Gallagher, Simons, uh, and other also top players. So it's really weird for Roberto De Zerbi to take such a job at this time. But I would say good luck to him. But let's get into the statistics behind Roberto De Zerbi. He's won, as I said before, he's won 26 games at Brighton. He lost 25. He drew 19. So in total of, I believe, 70 games around. And in terms of game-wise, how, he plays, what's his style of playing, he has, um, he plays mostly with his defenders, from a 3-2-2-3 formation. I would say that they if the defender has the ball, they wouldn't they would just keep it for 6 seconds and then throw it out, waiting for the opponent to come, high press on them, and then they would, pass it to some other player to pass it to their teammate. So in that terms, I his formation is pretty weird, and his possession is really weird. I would say because when you have defenders coming in from when you have your opponent team coming in from the back and coming towards you, you should not be waiting there for a lot of time, and then once they come near you, then you just get scared, and you're like, let me just kick it somewhere. That's really risky, especially during these times in the Premier League, it's I would say it's really risky, playing a three in the back, and especially when those three defenders have a job to stay, stay there, and then then once the offense people just come and like, they just try to get the ball, then like you just suddenly just kick it out of bounds or something like that. So it would be fun to see how Tottenham played in the last couple of weeks, and can he actually like make a big, he could actually make like, a big difference. But I feel like one player that could really work, that would work really well in his system is Mickey Van de Ven, because like a lot of top teams have been looking at him because of his pace. He can run it like 50 yards, and during even when like there's high press, and like everybody's trying to go after him, he's a really good runner and he has a lot of pace in him. So like I think he would like this system honestly. And then also one more player that stands out is Destiny Udogi, who he's gonna see like a lot of the ball, and any def- I feel like any defender that like comes towards him would be really scared, because like with the ball he's really good, Destiny Udogi. But like now De Zerbi, he loves like an inverted fullback, who can basically act as the playmaker. So like I feel like Udogi is gonna like have a lot of the ball compared to what he had the previous seasons, So it's gonna be interesting to watch that. Although, and the I guess what my biggest question is does is it right for Robert De Zerbi to become an interim manager, or was it right for him to like what he is right now? He has a 5-year contract with Tottenham. Which one of them would you guys pick? Drop in the comment. But honestly, my opinion like is that he should become the interim manager, that just lead them to safety, and then after like after like they've seen his style of play, they've seen how he plays, like then the owners judge on him, It's just like Manchester United, where Michael Carrick, they haven't rushed into the decision, that we're gonna hire him as a permanent manager, but they're like taking the time, to pause and see how he plays, which in some ways it's fine, in some ways it's also bad, just like if he's playing well, then just give him the job, some people would argue. But then if you guys remember the Ole Solskjaer interim manager run where he played really good then, and then they made him the permanent manager, and then when he became the permanent manager, everybody like he started doing so bad and everybody started criticizing him, and accusing him. So like I with Robert De Zerbi, maybe it might be a difference because he was the permanent manager for Brighton, so like he has some experience in the Premier League, no, and like he could use that from then to come to like do the same thing here. But now it's that the Premier League then was a little, off, and like not many teams were competing that much. They weren't really giving their best efforts, But now if you see the table, let's see all the table for Premier League. Well, we have Arsenal at 70, Man City at 61, United 55, Villa 54, Liverpool 49, Chelsea 48, Brentford 46, Everton 46, Fulham 44, Brighton Brighton 43, Sunderland 43, Newcastle 42. So like if you see the teams at like 11th and 12th place, they're only 7 points off from 10th to Europa League position, which is Liverpool right now at 49 points. So it'll be interesting to see how Robert De Zerbi, based on he's probably seen how the Premier League works this year, with long throws and like corner kicks being the main thing, and like how the table is really congested this time and times, and teams are actually fighting, for Europa League positions for to get out of relegation. Or even the teams that are right now in relegation, they're also trying a lot, So it'd be interesting to see how he changes from the 2023 to 2024 spell and what he plays, at this time. So it would be really interesting to see. So let's talk about the fiber contracting. So as I said before, let's be honest. If he gets Spurs down to championship and nothing changes, and he just, continues his style of play, then people would start criticizing him. Then a lot of criticism would come, that you guys gave him a 5-year contract. Now we don't have anybody. How can we just fire him after 1 year, And yes, you can do that logically, but it would just be really weird to sack one manager who you guys gave a 5-year contract, just firing him after his first year. So that would be really weird. But I would really love to see how he plays. I think he plays with 3 back and 3 front. Let me see one time if I uh right now. He I believe he played with a 3-4-3 formation, but I could be wrong. I definitely know he played with 3 in the back. Because when I used to see his games, I used to identify, that he played with a 3-4-3 back. Yeah, he played with a 4-2-3-1, but mostly he played with a 3-4-3. So a 3-4-3, as we all know, it gives a little bit of discomfort to the defenders, because you have 3. So if one goes out, it becomes 2, and if it's definitely a counter attack, that would be hard. But if we see his win rate with a 3-4-3 formation, what is Robert? Three, four, formation. He had a 37% win rate, which is pretty horrible, Yes, the 3-4-3 formation is designed, to get defenders to invite pressure to creating passing lanes, and it can make, it can make, the opponent team come and high press you, and you guys can kick the ball really further to another player. But it has you that's basically a risk, and you guys don't want to have that many risks, because you guys can, if let's say a lot of the a lot of the opponent team players are coming at you and you don't have anywhere to go, then what are you gonna do there? So they would easily get the ball and score. So a 3-4-3 formation that Robert De Zerbi is choosing, is it's pretty risky, and I'm not sure if it's gonna help Tottenham in surviving relegation, because Tottenham or West Ham, if you see the teams below, West Ham, they're coming up pretty good. I think West Ham had they won 5 out of their 7 matches or something, last 5. They've, in their 7 matches. They've had they've had 3 draws, then they've had 3 wins, and they've had 1 loss. So like, if you see that record, they can easily come up, and this pressures Robert De Zerbi and Tottenham. That can they survive with a 3-4-3 formation, or with a 4-2-3-1 formation, which actually Robert De Zerbi actually played one time. So it would be, I guess, really interesting to see, where where he ends up, and if a 3-4-3 formation actually works. Just saying, it could maybe, like, it could go against Ruben Amorim. Just saying that he also used a 3-4-3 formation and didn't succeed, but just like Crystal Palace, Tottenham could also succeed with a 3-4-3 formation. So it'd be really interesting to see. Drop your comments. What do you think about 3-4-3 formation versus a 4-2-3-1 formation? Is it better, or is it worse and too risky for some teams like Tottenham to go with it, because especially during relegation times? And if we think about the current form they are, with Thomas Frank first fired, then you got Thomas. I think it was Igor Tudor. I don't know what has made these Tottenham players, like, as if they've lost hope. They don't even trust themselves. Like, if you let's give you an example. Like, when Tottenham played against Atletico Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League round of 16. After like, if you see them playing, they didn't have really any confidence in them, to score a goal in the first, like, 45 minutes. Like, after, they seemed a little better than before, but, like, they don't even have faith in themselves. So, and that's, especially when you're in relegation, you're fighting for it you're fighting to not get into relegation. You need that confidence, you need that power to, like, get you ahead. Without power, confidence is like 30%, I would say, of the whole 100%, that comes into achieving a goal. 30% is confidence into winning games. That 50%, that 40%, 50% is like you know, tactics and, like, how you play. But, like, 30% is that if you don't even have the confidence, like, then it's really hard to win the match. So, and that's what they've been showing, in in the last 2 years. Like, last year also, when they ended in 17th, also, all these players just look deflated, and, like, as if they have no purpose at all. They're just they're just a mid-table team, and, like, they don't have anything. Well, guys, you're in relegation. You have 6 or 7 games to go. So I don't know if they realize that themselves. Like, they probably do, but, like, just giving exaggeration. I don't know if they realize it themselves, but something Robert De Zerbi definitely has to look into, and it would be really extraordinary if they change it around. I would say, like, he could be one of the best Tottenham managers if he gets somehow to build a relationship, with the players, to help them boost some confidence, to get them, rolling, and, like, win games or even draw games also. Because any team, I guess, with 38 or 40 points should be, like, definitely guaranteed not relegation zone. So let's see how he does. Thank you for joining us in. We'll get you back next weekend, or next week, whenever I'm free, for another video on the Premier League as we close the international break off. And let's go, Tottenham. Let's get out of the relegation zone. And good luck to Robert De Zerbi. Thank you, guys.